Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing something that is extremely important for the future of not only my game enjoyment and I guess my channel as well. There's been a post after watching the chapter 2 reveal trailer, which there'll be a video on that, so just keep your eye out for that. There was a post by Dutch, specifically talking about the rarity system coming to Area 52. I kind of want to discuss a little bit about that, how it pertains to Area 52 in relation to what the game is in currently, and how it's going to kind of interact and change the game moving forward. I'll pull up some things. I'll pull up the Discord message here in a second, go over some things in game, the good, the bad, the really bad for it. So if you want to stick around and get more of like a discussion video, go ahead and just watch the end of the video, guys. Remember to subscribe below, all that stuff. If you want to catch me live on Twitch, I go live every day at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, twitch.tv/Stridic_TV, where we can discuss this a little bit more in depth, and I really want to see what you guys' opinion on this. Let's go ahead and dive into this video, guys, okay? All right, so here is the Discord message. So the rarity system is definitely coming to Area 52. Yes, it really has to happen. Can't keep the realm lagging behind because of the incompatibilities not having this system creates. The realm needs to get updated. We'll have an announcement in a couple weeks. This will bring rarities, new abilities, world rarities, and hopefully the hybrid updates and more. Okay, so just as a initial, reaction to it, my first initial reaction was like, oh my God, not rarities on Area 52. Okay, so let's discuss the good first, and then we can go into the bad about it a little bit later, because it's always easier to kind of digest some bad information or some bad opinions if you get the good. So the good side of this, the good thing about this, it will create more cohesion between the two servers, and it will be easier from a games systems standpoint of being able to balance things more correctly, get more content out quicker, more parity between the two servers, which will actually drive demand between actually making a legitimate choice between the two servers. Because right now, the meme is Area 52 is dead. In reality, there's a lot of people playing Area 52. It's just the gap between people doing content is very large, because a lot of us, including myself, has done all the content, right? And we've been done with the content for years. So like the lower level contents with like dungeons and stuff, like heroics, normals, even normal mythics, are pretty much dead to a lot of people, and it leads to a lot of like brick walling that people run into, and them quitting because of that. I don't think people really quit because they can't hybridize, correctly. It's really just because there's nothing happening on Area 52, which is a bad thing. Okay, so it's a good thing that these things are being kind of like coalesced into one unit, because it's going to allow things to be easier moving forward, and hopefully get more content out to us quicker. The other thing, new abilities, new world REs. If anyone doesn't know who watches my channel, knows I'm an Area 52 player through and through, and in seasonal they get 36 different spells that we don't get on Area 52, not like even before the random enchants are introduced. So that adds a lot of build diversity and things you can do with it. And I'm sorry to say it. I'm gonna say it. A lot of the abilities on seasonal are grossly overtuned, like to the point if they were implemented in Area 52 in their current form, would utterly annihilate the game's balance in a millisecond. So if anyone, is a seasonal diehard player, I understand why you play it. You play with ridiculously overpowered skills to the point of like laughability. So nothing against people. I don't want you guys to take it that way, but the abilities on seasonal are disturbingly overpowered. The new world random enchants, I'm really excited for that, because world enchants are huge, and random enchants are what make builds in this game. I don't care what fantasy land people want to try to live in, but your random enchants dictate your build, not your talent tree. And getting access to all the world random enchants allows for literally thousands of new build possibilities that me personally, I'm really excited to kind of explore. I can't wait to get my hands on them and really see like what we can do with it. Right now on Area 52, the meta is kind of stale, because like if you just take things like, I use this example all the time, if you take Abiding Fell Energy and Burning Darkness, you can't have those random enchants exist in the same space without them being grossly like out of balance, and they are. And that's kind of like the biggest example as I can. People were doing 35k with Burning Darkness on Void Reaver. No one's gonna do 35k with Abiding Fell Energy. My only concern is if they implement them into Area 52, either A, they're gonna have to drastically reduce the power of random enchants, which would give more power to talents, which I would actually be okay with, or they're gonna have to squash everything down into ultra generic random enchants like overheating, and that's not gonna be fun for anybody on both sides. So kind of going about it in a way where maybe it can appease both parties would be the best option. Now let's kind of shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the negatives, okay? So someone who mains Area 52, right? I am staunchly against seasonal for what it stands for. I don't mind the draft system, and I don't have a problem with anybody playing the server. If you want to play because it's fun, that's fine. I just personally, morally can't support a system that highly encourages really degenerate psychological warfare played on his player base through loot box, gambling mechanics, mobile game gotcha crap. That's why I don't play AAA titles, literally is because of those reasons, and it's, you know, hyper conflated in the seasonal realm. Now, if seasonal realm didn't have re-rolling as a main function of it, which highly encourages people to crack their wallet out and spend a bunch of money on potions and auras to you know, degenerately prestige a lot. I know you don't have to, but a lot of people want to prestige to have a strong build. I can't morally support that. That's why I don't play seasonal at the end of the day, right? It's a moral thing. I can't get over that aspect of the game. Like I said, I don't have a problem with draft, and I don't have a problem with the people that play the server. So please don't think I'm like shitting on the people who play the server. I just can't morally support that type of behavior, and I really wish they'd redo their monetization model, but I know they won't because it makes them a lot of money, okay? So with the rarity system coming to Area 52, my biggest concern is that in private conversations with Dutch, he has kind of alluded to me through different various means that the rarity system encourages a different way of taking abilities and how to build characters. He says it fundamentally changes the mental, the ability to change or select spells. It fundamentally changes the way people interact with the game on a spell by spell basis. I do get where he's coming from, I really do, and it does make sense. The only problem is with the rarity system in its current form is not going to support Area 52 build diversity in almost any variety if it's implemented point for point the way it is on seasonal. On seasonal, it's more okay because, like, you know, you can get away with less because the game is designed around you having less options, right? So what I really mean by this at its core fundamental, Area 52 is free pick, as in no restrictions. You can't have free pick and have not free pick, aka having rarities and restrictions, exist in the same space. They are fundamentally different things, and you can't have two. They are literally completely antithesis of each other. Free pick is free pick. You get to choose literally whatever you want whenever you want it. Rarity does not allow you to do that, right? And I know a lot of people really liked Mal'Ganis, including myself. I played Mal'Ganis, and the free pick in a way was a little bit better, but in Area 52, in its current form, with the current content, won't support it as well. So what I mean by that is certain abilities like Dispersion, Ice Block, Blink, these abilities that are so inherently powerful, they're basically used to cheese mechanics. And if Dutch and the team wants to remove that going forward, and I think they are keeping that in mind as far as balancing and designing raids, I would actually be okay with that. The way that I would want to see the rarity system implemented on Area 52 that I would personally be okay with, and I think a large majority would be with, is making those ridiculously overpowered things that cheese and break mechanics on a very regular basis legendary. And you can only have like one or two of them. That would actually encourage people to like actually do the mechanics the way they're intended, rather than using these hyper powerful abilities to circumvent certain things just to make the fight easier. Because at the end of the day, you don't want raiding to be a stress-induced, you know, stress-laden burden on people, because you have 10 or 25 people there. You want to try to make it as smooth and nice to be there as possible. And I will admit, as you know, the Realm First Raider, we do a lot of things that circumvent mechanics entirely so we can get through the content easier to allow the raid not to get frustrated as hard, right? So I will admit that. So if they want to change that with the rarity system by locking these hyper powerful abilities like behind legendaries, that would be fine. So let me pull up in game really quick. I probably got a couple messages here. So I'm on my healer, right? Okay. So things like I believe, what is it? Boomkin form or Moonkin form. I believe this is a legendary. It could be an epic. Okay. So if this is treated as more powerful than any other stance, let's say like defensive stance, righteous fury, excuse me, any of like the molten mind things, excuse me. Sorry. 1 second. Sorry about that. I had a coughing fit. Okay. Back to it. So what I was saying, if Moonkin is considered on power level with these other stance changing things, and they lock it behind like an epic. So let's say you want to play like a Moonkin form. I'm just kind of crafting this by the, on the fly. So please forgive me if it's not entirely accurate, but it's just to get the point across, okay? So if you want to play a Moonkin form, if it's legendary, and you really want to use like Starfall, and then you really want to use maybe like Wild Growth for some extra healing, because I know there's going to be more DPS / healing hybrids. And then you want to get Beacon of Light, for example. And then maybe you want to try, I don't know, Arcane Barrage. If all these things are legendary and or epic, and they all occupy a very small selection of slots, it's going to limit build diversity. And that's the biggest problem with Area 52 and the game in general, is they're trying, with the new hybrid rework and all these other things coming into the game, is to encourage more build diversity, which me personally, love it. I want more builds to play. As you guys know, I make lots of build guides, and I want the ability to just think in my head, like, what do I want to do today? And then do it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful system. My biggest core concern is that if we're going to be on a free pick server and you artificially limit things, you're not going to be able to call it a free pick server. And again, I don't really care what I see on Discord. People play this server, Area 52, because there's no restrictions. It's inherently different because of that. It offers an entirely different universe of gameplay experiences. So my biggest concern really is that they're going to limit things too much. And I don't understand this. Maybe someone can maybe offer some insight into this, but like artificially limiting things isn't more diversity. You're restricting it, right? And I understand there's this old saying like inaccessibility breeds creativity. I believe is the saying. I could be mistaken, but there is a certain limit where that philosophy fails. And with Ascension as it is now, where you have access to every talent and every spell, if you artificially limit it too much, you're going to hyper conflate the problems inherently with wanting to build classless things, because like I said earlier, your random enchants dictate your build. Your talents mean almost nothing. And apparently someone had told me that like things like arcane power and stuff like this aren't going to be taking a talent point, which is interesting. It's cool, but again, just with the rarity system being implemented, if it's just cut and copy from seasonal over here, is going to decimate Area 52. And I literally mean just decimate Area 52. So my suggestion, if the developers care to listen, I don't know if they really care about what I have to say, but I'm going to share it anyway. If you want to limit certain ultra powerful abilities that are cheesing your current raid mechanics, then do it. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. My only concern is, looking back on like season 6 and season 7, I had seen hundreds of posts and gotten personal messages, and I even experienced it myself, that like if your build needs 13, 14 rares to even operate at an acceptable level for the content you want to do, people quit playing because they're like, I don't want to prestige to level. And if, for me, as a raider, a Realm First raider, I'm using my Ivory Tower argument here, I don't give a shit. As a Realm First raider, we have to have the flexibility to adapt on the fly, like by a second basis. We have to, because if we're competing, we have to have the ability to be like, what is this mechanic? Assess it, pull the spell ID, figure out what it does, boom, immediately make a change. If we have to prestige to get these abilities for maybe next week, it's going to introduce a problem where if the other people wanting to compete for it just happen to luck out and roll these certain things that are super good for this one specific fight, they're gonna win by default. And that's awful. I want my guild's playing skill to be the deciding factor, not luck. That would be god awful. It would destroy top end rating like overnight. It would be so terrible. At the end of the day, the rarity system needs to happen. I understand from a games systems perspective, they have to do it because they can't have parity between the two servers, because if they try to adjust one thing on one and one thing over here, it's gonna cause unbelievably bad cohesion between the two servers. So I do fully support that. My only concern is that if we as raiders, if our ability to overcome the content on a free pick server is being entirely dictated by RNG, God forbid we have to like prestige level to get raid like viable builds for our level of like consider viability, most people are going to quit, and maybe me included. So I know I'm not special. I know probably no one gives a shit about that, but I've seen 3 of my guilds dissolve because raiding in Area 52 has been such a disaster over like the last year and a half because of like slow release times, horribly buggy bosses, incredibly silly mechanics that required us as a guild who wants to compete for these realm first to do these really cheesy things like, oh, we're doing a 25-man raid and this thing is doing 7 times the amount of damage it's actually supposed to based on the spell ID. Every single person in the raid get Divine Sacrifice plus the 2 talents and make a cancel or a macro. That's not fun for us. I personally hate that. I really wish it would go away. So moving forward, if they're designing things with that in mind and they want to lock these potentially mechanic breaking abilities behind like legendary where you can only have like 1 or 2, I would honestly be okay with that. I would just want to caution the developers. I know you want rarity system in the game. I really do, and I understand where you're coming from. Like, if you implement things that are going to like really fundamentally destroy people's ability to actually build their classless fantasy, the thing you guys sell your entire game on over and over and over in your marketing material, you can't limit it too much. There has to be some limitation, and I would be okay with it, but you can't limit it too much. So like just using invisibility, for example, like invisibility is a very popular thing for mythics. You don't need invisibility for the most part in raiding unless you want to use invisibility mid-fight to get an extra haste proc. We use it, it's fine. But unless you want to redesign mythics again, which I think you've already done it 3 different times, to account for everyone not having invisibility, that's going to be more work. And if you guys are up for it, I would be okay with it, because invisibility skipping, not really that much fun. I want to kill monsters, right? So what is my like end of video summation of all this stuff? What's the rarity system going to do to Area 52? Do I think it's going to completely kill the server? Maybe. It's kind of hard to tell at this point. I don't think it's going to completely decimate it. I don't think people are going to be that volatile about it. There's definitely going to be some throwback at the start, but I think it will be okay in the long run. I did say in the video, like, it's going to decimate Area 52. Really what I was trying to say, and I guess I didn't expand upon that more in depth, is really it's just going to probably kill the game for me and the 50 or 100 people that I regularly play the game with, because we play Area 52 because it's free pick, right? We want to have ultimate freedom to play exactly what we want when we want it. And I want Area 52 to remain as close to that as it possibly can, because I truly believe that's the way it should be played. My suggestion, if anything, is make legendaries fine. Like, just make the super broken stuff that breaks game mechanics and all this other stuff, make those legendaries and leave everything else free pick. I don't want to run into the point where I'm like, oh, I want to play a new build today. I want to go try this new thing, but I need 14 rares, and I'm not going to prestige to go get those rares. I just want to be able to grab them. And I just want, like, as close to free pick as we can without enough restrictions where it's going to actually limit people's freedom is kind of where like the Goldilocks zone I think Area 52 should exist in, because regardless of what I may say, what, you know, people might think of me, I do want the game to prosper. I don't want the game to die. I love this game, man. I've been playing for like 4+ years, right? Like I want this game to be as good as it possibly can. And I do believe wholly that it is a step in the right direction and it can help the game in the long run. In the end, I just want the way that I have spent the last 4 years of playing this game to not be infringed upon too much. Some restrictions is fine. Like I said, if you want to make legendaries, make legendaries. Leave everything else alone. If you just do that, I truly believe that it will be the best of both worlds. If people want to play seasonal for everything seasonal has, they can play seasonal. You come over to Area 52, there's a little bit of restrictions, but you still have like 99% freedom. I would honestly be okay with that. And I hope that like Dutch and the team maybe take that in consideration. It's just, I don't want the way the game that I play to be taken away from me, because I hate to be doom and gloom, but I probably won't play much longer if Rarity is just cut from seasonal and slapped onto Area 52 in its current form. If it's modified to give us the best of both worlds, I would be okay with it. But like in the immediate future, it's probably going to ruin a lot of my personal enjoyment and the way that I want to make content for the game. But you know, in the long run, it probably won't be as bad as I and many of us think that. It's probably going to be okay, man. It really is probably going to be okay. And I'll probably come back if I do end up taking a break. It just really depends on what my guild's doing, because ultimately at the end of the day, I raid with my guild because they're my family. And if my family doesn't want to play the game, I'm probably not going to play the game much longer myself, but fingers crossed. Let's just end the video here, guys. Good, bad. I want to know what you guys legitimately think. Try to keep it respectful. If you want to flame me, feel free, it's okay, but let's try to keep it respectful, because I'm not trying to shit on the developers. I just want them to understand that I love their game so very much, and it would absolutely break my heart if that love for it got taken away because of a system that like maybe or may not be the best for Area 52 specifically, okay? Anyway, let's wrap this video up. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.